For 3 decades, thousands of stories were given life in our print room before being sent to your home. Each week, an individual walks into this room to give life to an incredible, one-of-a-kind story. These aren't your local politicians or well-known celebrities. They are everyday people, much like yourself, eager to share a piece of their lives with you.
I was a package deal. I had a 12-year-old son when we met. We got married a year later, and Julie jumped in with both feet and was a great mom to that son, who they're still very close to this day. Before even getting married, I had to make sure that that was something I was willing to do. And, you know, as a good friend of mine said, oh, you have something better to do with your life than to raise good children. And I thought, that's a good reason. So
I think the funny thing is during that whole time, I don't think we ever thought that there would be a struggle. We just assumed we would get pregnant. I think we just were wondering, is that something Jack wanted to do again? I know that it was something I really wanted. And so we began trying, as couples do, to have a baby. And nearly 7 years later, we were still unsuccessful.
I think we weren't prepared for some of the challenges. But
you rise to the challenge.
Yeah, it's your kid.
You know, once I conceived, it was a really exciting time for me. And I know Jack had been down that road 20 years before with his older son, but he was just as excited. We had a slight scare at 3 months. My progesterone level dropped, and they thought that I had lost Noah. Come to find out, looking at the sonograms, it was more than likely that I had conceived twins, and that I had lost one of the twins, Noah's twin, at 3 months. The rest of the pregnancy was pretty uneventful. It was actually pretty darn good. We did have a little bit of trouble in the delivery. He got stuck, as you would say, and they ended up doing what is it, Trendelenburg? Mm-hmm. And to get his heart rate back up. And then a few hours later, he was born after a lovely 14 hours, I think it was. It's
a standard thing. Everyone always, oh, is it a boy or a girl? Although most people know nowadays. But I'm looking at 10 fingers, 10 toes, looks normal, no cleft palate. I used to work plastic surgery, so you look for all those things. And everything seemed perfectly normal. Lots of joy, lots of happiness, friends coming over.
And he was beautiful to us.
Older son was one of the first people there too, and just really wanted to be part of that whole experience. And so, yeah, it started off great.
Noah doesn't look different. Matter of fact, I think as his mom, I can say I think he's quite handsome.
We're listening to everything she says, and after about 40 minutes, we say,
we're waiting.
So, do you think we're dealing with autism here? And she goes, oh yeah.
Oh,
you know,
no question. And we're like,
what else would it be? We've been searching for what is going on with our son because we knew something wasn't as it should be.
And now we have an answer.
Did we love our son with all our hearts? Of course. And it was that love for him that drove us. We've got to find out what this is, because no matter what you're dealing with in medical, early diagnosis is key to a better outcome.
And Jack just looked at me, he goes, Julie, he goes, we don't love him any less. And I said, I know that. I said, it was kind of a delayed, wow, okay.
I think there was definitely a big part of that, just as any life-changing diagnosis, whether it be a terminal illness or something like this. Lots of parents face bigger challenges than we have, but this was significant, and it's the rest of our lives, the rest of his life. So there was that, no, this happens to other people, not us. You wouldn't choose to be in this club, but you find yourself there.
And you develop friendships along the way.
When Noah started kindergarten, there were 10 children in his class. There were already 3 broken marriages. And as of 3 years ago, February, Julie and I are the last remaining married couple, as we understand it, from that group. It takes its toll. I'm not sure that there was a realization that the typical marriage is out the window. Our son is going to have needs that far exceed. I think the mom and dad role became up here, and the husband and wife, still important, took a back seat like that. Whereas I think in a lot of healthy marriages, you need to be a husband and wife first and parents second, because if you're not supporting yourself and strong in each other and in your togetherness, raising typical children is a challenge. So you need to have that strength and that capability and that teamwork. I need to realize that Julie's going to have to give a lot more attention to Noah than a typical child.
But I think
Noah can't just go play in the other room for 3 hours. He requires 24-hour a day, 7 day a week, 365 days.
True. Yes, my role giving to Noah was a lot, but someone pointed out to us, I really don't remember who, was that if you and I weren't strong together, if you and I weren't 100% and building each other up, we weren't going to be the parents that Noah needed. But life can be difficult no matter what situation you're in. Ours is a little unique. But back to your question, one of the things about things that we do tonight, I mean, it's a Thursday night, right? Where are we going to go? We're going to go have a glass of wine.
You have to have a sense of humor. In any marriage, you have to have a sense of humor. And in being a parent, you have to have a sense of humor. And I think it's absolutely critical. You have to see the humor in the fact that you just clean the kitchen and Noah will get a can of ravioli and pull the tab and it looks like
it's rained ravioli.
Gunfire throughout the kitchen. And then the Great Dane comes in and starts eating what fell on the floor, and you're trying to clean this and move the dog and make sure that Noah by now is already eating out of the can.
And he takes a nice couch cushion and then wipes his face. It's like, nah, okay, well, we got that synthetic stuff, right? It cleans up, we're good.
Where we butt heads the most is because when Noah has a tough time, whether he's biting his hands in frustration or he's crying or he's sick and we don't know that yet, we both leap into action with exactly what Noah needs. Of course, my perception of what he needs is not the same of what, and she'll be saying, what are you doing? And I'm saying, what are you doing? And we need to realize, okay, let's get through this, then we can sort out who was right and wrong. And
we have learned there's a lot in our marriage, and I actually think it's become a very good and healthy thing. There's a lot of, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? I just totally unloaded on you, and you didn't do anything wrong. Noah has had a hard day, therefore mom's had a hard day. You know, it's not 5 o'clock somewhere, and I really can't have a glass of wine every hour, nor should I. And so sometimes you lash out at one another, but having that spirit of forgiveness and knowing when to say, you know what, it's okay. You lost it. I know it's not me. And I can't remember how many times I sit down and I look at him and I'm like, you know it's not you, right? It's not you.
It is amazing how well she's learned to say she's wrong.
Oh, sorry.
Well, there's people here, so I don't have to. You are your child's advocate. No one will love your child or stand up for your child like you will. And they need you more than a typical kid. Our son will probably never live away from home, which frankly, I like that. I love the fact that I drop my 15-year-old son off at school some mornings and I get a hug and a kiss, because I guarantee you most 15-year-old boys don't give their dad a hug and a kiss as they drop them off. And that's typical and normal and that's fine. But I know that Noah needs us. He needs mom, probably more than dad, but my charge would be to dads, be involved. This isn't what you'd anticipated, but love your kid and give your heart and give everything you can for the child.
And for me, I would just say, you know what, do it together. You know what? Look at that person. They don't and can't assume and read your mind. You need to look at them and you need to tell you, I love you. And today was really crappy, but it's a little bit better because you're with me. And I don't care what people tell you. Yes, some marriages, maybe the disability just reveals cracks that were already there. You know, maybe some of us, us included, you know, we have our selfish moments. But at the end of the day, if you love that husband, if you love that wife, don't give that up because the struggle makes it harder. Because I honestly believe that Jack and I are a living testament that a good marriage takes a lot of work. A great marriage takes a whole lot more. And when I say great, that doesn't mean it's perfect. It's got its holes, it's got its struggles, but together you're gonna go further and you're gonna be there as a stronger unit for your kid.